To order, we'll start this meeting of Senate Judiciary Committee and welcome everybody here today. To begin with, we will introduce our Sergeant at Arms, and today we have with us Michael Cavanis, Mike Harris, Matthew Lee, Linda Matthews, and Mike Norton. All the Mikes are here. Thank y'all for keeping an eye on us and keeping us in order. We also fortunate to have some pages with us today. So if you could please, there is a mic there that Senator Grafstein will cut on for you. If you would not, or the Sergeant at Arms, if you would please, when I call your name, stand up and tell us your name again and where you're from and who sponsored you. And so we appreciate you being here today. So first on my list is Jaden Eda or Etta. Jaden?
Good morning. My name is Jaden Eda. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, sponsored by Senator Mohammed, and I'm a rising senior at Cato Middle College High School. Looking forward to paging this week.
Excellent. Thank you. We have Natalie Jackson.
Good morning. My name is Natalie Jackson. I'm from Laurinburg, North Carolina, and my sponsor is Senator Britt.
And we have Eddie Keaton.
Hello, my name is Eddie Keaton. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, and my sponsor is Senator Michael Lee.
All right. And we have Bennett McCaskill.
Hello, my name is Bennett McCaskill. I'm from Huntersville, North Carolina, and I'm sponsored by Senator Marcus.
All right. And we have Hudson Schwartz.
Hello, my name is Hudson Schwartz. I'm from Smithfield, North Carolina, and my sponsor is Senator Berger.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for being here today. We hope you learned something. I want to encourage you all to please ask as many questions about this week as you can. Ask your Senate sponsors or any other senator or staff. Hopefully everybody will be very accommodating and happy to answer your questions. We really appreciate young folks understanding this process up here because it's so important and we affect your lives so much. So welcome again, and I look forward to talking to you later this week. On our agenda today, we have a couple of bills that are going to be for discussion only. And first, we're going to start with HB 495, and there is a PCS that I don't think is, Senator Daniel moves to bring forward the PCS. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, the PCS is before us, and I thought Senator Britt was going to handle this. Oh, he's back behind me. So Senator Britt is going to present the PCS to us, and no, that's on the next bill. Thank you. Senator Britt.
Thank you again. This is for discussion only. This makes various changes to our organized retail theft laws. It states that organized retail theft crime would apply to both new and used property. It also closes a loophole where retail property fences trade drugs for stolen retail property. Also addresses a court case, State versus Hills Court of Appeals decision that basically said someone had to create a false label, affix the false label, and then pass the false label in order to be convicted of the crime of theft by way of using that false label they put on an item, go through the store, receive the item based on the false barcode, and then or return the item using the false barcode, and then receiving money back from the store. It also clarifies the current misdemeanor crime of switching price tags, enhanced to a Class H felony if the differences between the two items is $200 or greater. Of course, organized retail theft is something we've worked on the last couple sessions, trying to address millions and millions of dollars of loss in our state. And I know of no opposition other than folks who may be engaged in organized retail crime.
Thank you, Senator Britt. Are there any questions from the committee members or comments from the committee members? Everybody likes the PCS? That's awesome. So when we bring it back up, everybody will vote for it, hopefully. All right. I do think there is someone from the public that wanted to speak to this bill, and my list is coming up. I caught you off guard. That went faster than we thought it would go. I believe that the only person, no, I'll take it back. There are two people. We have Mark Benton from DHHS. I'm on the wrong bill. Excuse me for that. The phone messed me up, Elizabeth. I apologize. We have Elizabeth Robinson on 495.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, members of the committee. We appreciate your consideration of the PCS today. We actually work with a group called the Carolinas Organized Retail Crime Alliance. That's a partnership between law enforcement professionals, district attorneys, and retail loss prevention officers who came to us with some clarifying changes, a lot of which go back to the original 2007 statute for some things that really were not contemplated at the time. But as Senator Britt mentioned, modernizing some definitions of inventory control device to account for updates in technology. The definition of retail property also included the term new, but we're seeing a lot of ORC groups target consignment stores. So really just looking to make some clarifying changes, but happy to answer any questions on any of these provisions. And again, appreciate your consideration today.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Chuck Spahos?
I'll wait, Mr. Chairman.
You wave? You good? Okay, you'll talk next time maybe? All right. All right. There any other comments or questions from the committee members? Is there anybody else from the public who wishes to address this bill? Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to vote the bill today. We're going to move on down our agenda. And the next one is HB 250, death by distribution. Senator Daniel moves to bring the PCS back before us. And once again, Senator Britt is recognized to address the bill. I believe, Senator, you have an amendment. Is that right?
I do. You should have the amendment in front of you. It's H250-ATU-48. It simply removes on pages 4 and 5 lines 20 through 51 by deleting those lines. There was an IDS commission request that came to us that still needs to be worked on, so we're going to amend that part out now and look at it at a later time. I ask for your support on the amendment.
Senator Newton. Okay, on the amendment. All right. Are there any questions or comments from the committee on the amendment that's before us? All those in favor of the amendment, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The bill as amended is back before us.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to first thank on the last bill Representative Crutchfield, Representative Green, and Representative Dr. Kristen Baker for their work on the organized retail theft bills that went through the House. Back to House 250. This bill, again, is for discussion only. The Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Conference of DAs, are working on some changes on this PCS that we should have ready by next Tuesday when we prepare to vote the bill. I'm just going to go through each of the changes. This would require the complete file of the death investigation be turned over to the state for compliance with discovery laws. There are certain laws that require the district attorney's office to provide a full copy of their file to a defendant, and this is just ensuring that that full file is made available to the district attorney so there's no due process issues that may lead to a case ending up overturned on appeal. Also, it clarifies the chief medical examiner and the county medical examiners must comply with Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government and follow the rules of search and seizure unless they obtain an administrative search warrant and there is no criminal investigation into death. Modifies the training requirements of county medical examiners to require training on the limits on the authority, the new statutory timeline for the request of a complete autopsy, and the requirements to turn over that file to the district attorney's office for discovery. Also clarifies the district attorney has up to 72 hours to decide if a complete autopsy is necessary and the medical examiner is not the finder of probable cause. This helps to address some of the issues we're dealing with overdoses and the need for autopsies and overdoses to investigate death by distribution cases and ensure those cases can be adequately prosecuted. It also clarifies that all photos and videos of autopsies shall not be released to the public while a crime is being investigated or prosecuted. There may be some concern for availability of these autopsy reports and photos being made available for the press and things like that. But what this does is it ensures that these items are not released outside of a chain that may improperly influence a jury, and again, potentially lead to a case being overturned on appeal where a death's involved. Lastly, number 6, it clarifies that the file and evidence collected by the medical examiners are treated as records of a criminal investigation, and during the investigation and prosecution of a crime and at the conclusion of the criminal case, the records would be accessible to the public at that time. Again, there are some tweaks to this that are being worked on between the Conference of DAs and the Department of Health and Human Services. This bill was just released to them last night in a PCS. They still need a little bit of time to address those concerns.
Thank you, Senator Britt. Questions or comments from the committee? Senator Batch.
Thank you. And Senator Britt, just a couple questions. If you do not know the answer, happy for staff to answer. So in at least JLOC for health this year, we've talked about the medical examiner's office being overwhelmed. And what I guess my question is do you believe that at least the passage of the current PCS, and I know it's being worked on, but the current changes that are in there will actually exacerbate some of the issues that we already have with the medical examiner's office and the lack of, I actually don't think they even have enough individuals working in the ME's office as is.
Well, those are some of the concerns that I think they're working through. They're trying to address by Tuesday. I do know Representative Dean Arp on the budget side has worked hard to try to ensure that they do receive additional funding to try to have additional sources there in the medical examiner's office. And I think there were some additional resources provided last budget cycle in order to help ensure that they're able to investigate or actually conduct autopsies in these cases when we believe that there may be a death caused by distribution.
Follow up?
Yes, please. So with regards to I know you just talked about the restriction of the actual autopsy until, I guess, it seems like the bill as written, it appears it might be permanent. Is there openness to having it available after there has been a trial? I understand the concerns with regards to juries, et cetera, and not wanting to actually have it overturned. But have there been discussions, or is that something that is being discussed?
There has been, and the way it's worded to be at the conclusion of the criminal case, the records would be available to the public.
And follow up.
Follow up.
And so in matters where there's no criminal investigation, does this apply to other autopsies and not being made available to the public or to families? Or is it just for the particular cases that have criminal investigations?
Just for those particular cases that are being prosecuted criminally.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Batch. Other questions or comments? Senator Mohammed, I just had a feeling you were going to have a good question. You always do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. A question for the bill sponsor. I'm just trying to figure out, Senator Britt, as far as the restrictions for the general public. I understand for the autopsies, but will your bill now restrict family members from getting access to that as well?
While the case is being criminally prosecuted, yes.
Why restrict family members?
Follow up.
Why restrict family members to access?
Right now, the family member could still potentially release that on social media. And if they release those photos on social media, it could potentially taint a jury pool.
Follow up.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Other questions, other comments? Senator Newton.
Just one quick follow-up to that. That doesn't mean the family doesn't understand verbally what the autopsy showed. Is that correct?
That's correct. And the district attorney who's provided that from the medical examiner's office, they can absolutely sit down with the family and show them the autopsy photos, show them the autopsy report, and oftentimes that happens. So the family would have an opportunity to look at those with the prosecutor. It just wouldn't be something to be openly released to someone who could potentially release it to the public then.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Senator Britt, anything else you wish to add?
No, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. Then we will open it up for public discussion, for public comment. The first person I have is Mark Benton with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Mark Benton. I'm the Chief Deputy Secretary at the department. Wanted to acknowledge that the department has been working for a little bit with the Conference of DAs on this particular language. We appreciate the additional time to work through some of the areas where we still have concerns about the legislation, and want to recognize also the challenges that face the medical examiner system now, and that this bill, as currently written, would make those challenges much more difficult.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The next person I have is Chuck Spahos, excuse me, Chuck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chuck Spahos with the Conference of District Attorneys, and I just want to echo the fact that we are working on several of the issues that have been discussed during this committee meeting. Language is going back and forth. It is definitely the District Attorney's intent to narrow this down to a workable piece that involves just the pending criminal cases. So we're committed to that working on that language and getting this process taken care of. And hopefully by next Tuesday, we'll bring you something that works.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other persons that wish to comment publicly on this bill? Any further questions or comments from the committee members or Senator Britt? Okay, then we have handled our business for today, and the Judiciary Committee is now adjourned.